Good morning everyone. How you all doing? Sarah here. I've been a bit lax in doing videos recently. I've had a lot of things on. Mum was 96 last week. And lots of other small jobs that needed doing urgently. Anyway, here I am. And I thought today I would share something that happened over the weekend that kind of left me pondering, wondering how this encounter with somebody that I'd never met before left a bit of an impression and a ponder. I was invited to a neighbour's for a drink. I don't really drink very much alcohol these days, but occasionally in a social situation I'll have a glass of wine or whatever. Anyway, I went and they had some friends round that I'd never met before that live, well, they have a house close by, but I think they work abroad quite a lot. Anyway, I'm just going to sit down here because I'm waving my camera around a bit. Anyway, I went and the minute I walked in through the door, this woman who I'd never met before, I could feel she had a really spiky energy. Anyway, she was combative right from the very beginning, and I kind of put it down to her having a bit to drink before I got there. But anyway, she was difficult to have a conversation with because she questioned everything I said. It was like, it wasn't a question because she was interested, it was a question because she wanted to be combative. And so I kind of went on the defensive a little bit, which, in reflection I shouldn't have done. I should have just ignored what she was saying. And she asked me what I did, and I said, well, my age entitles me to be retired, but yeah, I said, officially I'm retired, but I do have a few people that I still do work with, and if somebody approaches me, I'm here to do what I can, lend a hand. But she didn't quite understand that. She said, oh, haven't you discussed the, because my neighbours were just then piped up and were interested in what I was saying, and because I've never discussed it really with them. There's no reason to, if they're interested in what I do, then of course I'll sit down and explain a lot, but I've never been asked, so I don't put the information forward. I live in a very small village, and I suspect there'd be a little bit of suspicion around what I do, and we all know where that leads. So I've never been overtly open. No, not open. Telling people what it is I do as a shamanic guide. And this woman picked up on the fact that my neighbours didn't really know much about my work, and said, "Oh, haven't you told them? Is that because you're not really a healer? You're not really into, you're not really authentic." Oh God! And it was just, how do you react to people like that? Hang on. So I kind of let it go at that point. I thought, oh, I'm not going to get into an argument with this woman, or even explain myself, that I, give her the qualifications I have, and that the people that I've worked with, and the apprenticeships that I've done. I thought, I'm not even going to waste my time explaining to her, because she'll just, whatever. Anyway, it kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth. Not because I felt intimidated in any way, but because I felt I hadn't handled the situation as best I could, and that I hadn't really been my authentic self. And I feel being authentic in who you are is really of the utmost importance. And it's taken me a couple of days to kind of process that evening. And I thought, and the other thing is that on the Sunday and the Monday I had really bad heartburn, really bad. And I don't often get heartburn, acid stuck tummy. And I sat down and I thought, oh, what's this all about? I don't know, it's not like I've eaten anything that's likely to trigger it. And I thought, well, what is heartburn all about? And it's about not being able to digest an event. And I thought, oh yeah, right, okay, so that's what it is. I've been mulling this over, and it's been kind of quite uncomfortable because I felt that I didn't react in the way that I should have done, and that I needed to kind of digest that. And that's what the heartburn was doing. It was reminding me to digest it. Anyway, so then I was thinking about her, and I thought, why, it wasn't just... And I, spoke to my neighbour the following day, and, I said, I apologise if I was rude to your friend, but, Anyway, so it seems that this woman, from my perspective, is not being her authentic self, that she hides behind her job title and her expensive clothes, and she projects that forward as to how she thinks people need to see her, and she was quite dismissive of people who are happy in the lives that they're leading. That her job was terribly important, and she was important. And that, coming back to this sleepy place in mid Wales where people were content in their lives was somehow, I don't know, in her eyes, insufficient. And so I kind of felt that, she just doesn't allow herself to be her authentic self. And, it would be nice to know who that authentic person is, because I'm sure deep down underneath, she's a nice woman. It's just that she feels the need to make her opinions known in rather a combative way. So it just got me thinking about this need to be authentic in our lives, to be our authentic selves, and that has a really high vibration. Once we can be our authentic selves, we are walking the path that is designated for us. Walking our true path home. And that can be in any shape or form, how authenticity shows up for you. Are you living the life that you should be living, or want to be living, more to the point? Are you happy in your job? Are you content in your life? And if you're not, then perhaps you need to change it. Do you surround yourself with people who are happy and jolly and not combative? I shan't be in any rush to meet up with that woman ever again. But, next time I'm a little bit, I will be not prepared, but you know what I mean. aware that this is her thing. So, oops, I had to make a dash for home because it just started raining, and I don't want to get soaked, but I thought I'd just finish this out in the garden under the trees. So yeah, so being authentic is really important, and that can be, the authentic you, both good and bad. So if a situation calls for it, then you can react in a way that you feel is authentic to you, whether that's a good or a bad reaction, really. Not to suppress things because you feel it won't be heard in the right way. And yeah, our authentic voice, it's that thing here, and I kind of guess it it made me think that instead of being on the defensive, I should have just sat down and explained in great detail what it was that I believe and what I do, and just taken whatever she was going to throw at me. But at the time, I felt I didn't want to get into that argument because I was in somebody else's house. But that throat not being true to yourself, that throat not being able to speak your truth without fear of being criticised. And I guess that's, there's a lot of hype at the moment about witch wounds, and that, how that affects us in this life. You can hear my voice is going now. As a reminder that we can speak our truth, and if other people don't like it, then that's their problem. It's not, we're not likely to be burned at the stake anymore, hopefully. I mean, there's still, around what I do, there's still a lot of suspicion. I think people think it's either a load of twaddle, or they feel that you're some kind of black witch or something of the sort. I'm trying to, just to explain to people who don't understand energy healing, it can be quite tricky. So anyway, what I'm saying is that I felt that I wasn't being my authentic self that night because I didn't want to get into a situation where it escalated the conversation, especially because it was in my neighbour's house. And that very obviously this woman is not her authentic self because she hides behind her job title, her ability to buy expensive clothes, her ability to travel the world, albeit for work. There was a lot of, oh, where have you been? And, oh, haven't you been there? Sort of conversation going on, which is just like, what? So my talk today is just, are you being your authentic self? And do you put a mask on when you're in company of people that you don't know very well? And that's another workshop I do, actually, is mask making. Who's hiding behind the mask? I might do a demonstration one of these days when I have a little bit of time. Maybe when it starts raining again, I can confined to the house instead of being trying to tidy up my very messy garden. Anyway, hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.